All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Cobalt Cafe, week number 269 of our series. So happy that you're here with us. My name is Rick Lupert, your MC for this event. In addition to our open reading, our featured reader is Leonora Simonovis, who I just saw is from New York, which means she's up late for us people. So let's keep this thing moving. We can't keep the New York poets awake all night. I realize we have poets from Japan and all kinds of other timelines. I just want to be sensitive to everyone's time zone needs. So we're going to do a chunk of our open reading first, and then have Lenora read, and then the rest of the open reading. If you would like to read and you haven't already done so, please send me a message in the chat, and I will be happy to add you to the list. As always, it's 2 poems maximum. Less is more is the suggested time limit. And there you go. You're in. We do have a 1 drink minimum here at the Cobalt Cafe. Make sure you have a beverage with you to help honor that long-standing tradition that we've all been grandparented in. Trying out that gender-neutral word tonight just to see how it lands. Let me know how you feel about it. What else can I tell you? Ah, yes, the chat room. You should have the chat room open so you can interact with other folks, respond to what you're hearing, send each other messages, post links of things that you might mention when you read, etc., etc., etc. I believe that is everything I need to tell you before we get going with our first open reader. So before that, I would like to ask if there are any questions. Martin Parker's got his hand up. Okay, Martin, what do you got?
Good evening, Rick. I was just wondering tonight if you have a favorite flavor of pie.
Pie? Pie. Oh, that's tough. Whenever Addie and I go out for pie, there's at least 45 extra minutes we need just to decide which one we're gonna get. I definitely like the classic flavors. I'm an apple pie fan. I like a good cherry pie. I think I've had a Marionberry pie, which, you know what? I'm gonna actually backtrack here and tell you I think peach blueberry is probably my all-time favorite. There you go. Forget everything that I said prior to that. Peach blueberry.
Excellent choice. I do love peaches and blueberries, although my favorite pie is probably hazelnut cream as long as it's vegan and no actual white sugar at this point. So,
Sure, understood. All right, thank you, Martin. Denise, you have your hand up there?
Yeah, actually, I think Bella had hers up before me, but my question is, have you seen Train to Busan yet?
No, I have not. I've only
Okay,
actually been in
I
Busan.
know you have, but I'm recommending that film because it is my all-time favorite zombie movie. So make sure you watch it when you have time. It's the perfect time of year for it.
All right, I'm sending myself an email right now, so that way I don't forget to add it to my list. Uh, there we go. Sorry to take up everyone's time while I conduct my email business, but there you go. Train to Busan is on the list. I don't remember anything unless it's emailed to me, so I often email myself to take care of these important things. Thank you for the recommendation, Denise. Cathabella, yes.
Do you have favorite fonts? I think we all do.
Did you
But
say
font.
fonts?
Yes, Fonts. Yeah.
Uh, I tend to gravitate. What's that?
Yeah, ones that you like to use.
I tend to gravitate towards old typewriter style fonts, and I have to, in particular when I'm making the broadsides, I have to not use them every single time so it looks like I'm putting thought into their design, more so than, but yeah, I tend to like grungy fonts and old typewriter fonts.
Hmm. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Thank you
Fun.
for the question. All right. Interesting to see what comes of all of those answers in your upcoming poems. I think that's it for the questions. We are going to get on to our open reading. 5 open readers, then Leonora Simonovis. So Martin Parker, you're on deck. Please welcome our first reader, Bill Gaines. Hello, Bill.
Hello, how's everybody doing? I am pleased to kick it off. Let's go. I have 2 today. I'm going to do, this one is called Peel Away Your Face. I think it goes like this. Dig in those claws and peel away your face. Marvel at your skull's decay. Time does something different altogether while you're staring at your skin. Your teeth gave hints, but you had no idea how many holes and cracks lay just beneath. And now you've seen the last of you, before your eyes fall out, before your intellect melts away. And peace.
Mm.
And then, this one is called Pinstripe. He wore the suit of an angel. He wore the sideburns of the devil. He wore the shoes of an Italian. He was a man of means, but he lacked a motive. He carried a pen, but he only paid cash. All of his friends had 4 wheels each, and they made him attractive to the opposite sex. For just like his friends, he was good-looking and warm on the inside. But he was always in motion, because when he stopped, he stalled. And when he stalled, he collected snow and disappeared under a blanket of wrath. So he drove forever and ever, until one day he drove so far that the last person on earth watched him cruise off into the sunset. And no one ever saw him again, but we all remember what he looked like. And peace.
How can you forget someone wearing the shoes of an Italian, Bill? Good
It
line.
doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Great poem. Thanks for sharing that with us. Looking forward to your featured reading coming up before the year ends. Glad you're here tonight. Nice work.
Thank you. Can't wait
Round
to
of
see
applause for
what
Bill
Denise
Gaines.
has.
Indeed. Round of applause for. All right. On deck, Julian Matthews. Please welcome now Martin Parker. Hello, Martin.
Hello again, Rick. Thank you, as always, for this space and to everyone in the room tonight. I've got a couple seasonal poems here that I've read here before, but I thought I just had to bring them out for the season. I tend to be a bit ambivalent about this new season, autumn, but so here's a poem called Autumn Ambiliqui. When pumpkins ripen on the vine, the warmth of the summer begins to fade. I feel the breeze across my face with hints of a chill in the evening shade. This is the time the leaves on the trees will let their green ichor bleed away, revealing the colors underneath that warm my heart on a cool fall day. I breathe in the scent of burning leaves, of cider with spices that on the stove molds, while a pumpkin pie, freshly baked, reclines on the counter as it cools. But fear of the fast approaching freeze can make me dream of summer's ease. And this is one in a completely different style that I wrote many years ago. Not quite 40 years ago now, I think. This is called Seasonal Swirls. A wave of Freon battled the sun. He stretched me a ladder of gold to cross over the shadowy maw of the yawning abyss that was stealing her warmth, spreading a chill, stirring a breeze, stripping off leaves, tossing them all around on the ground, swirling shades of red ochre green, creating a bowl of autumn leaf salad. And thank you very much. And I don't have it here, do I? No, I finally got my copy of Improvs in Black and White by PGN Publishing that I did the cover of and helped edit. So I'll put the link in the chat for that if anyone wants to check it out. And my new design is coming out today. S is for Sister.
Congrats on both of those items, Martin, and thank you for the delicious poems that you delivered to us today. Started out with pie, and then I think you went to salad. I don't know. I probably would have gone the other way, just in terms of, punishment and reward. But
Good critique. Good critique. Probably try to do she did next list.
there you go. All right, Martin, thanks so much for being here. Round of applause for Martin Parker. On deck, Christopher T. George. Please welcome Julian Matthews. Hello, Julian.
Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. This is called Monopoly, and I have one more after that. Okay. Monopoly. I'll trade you Gaza for Syria, Cuba for North Korea. How about Congo for Sudan? Afghanistan for Iran, Yemen for Ukraine. It's not part of the plan. Russia and Israel not up for sale. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 worth of peace. Who has the monopoly on genocide? Choose your token. Top hat, terrier, race car, iron, boots on the ground, battleship, cannon, roll the die. Let's go. This is, after all, a game for the players, for has-beens, not from Hasbro, who give each other get-out of jail cards for free and never have to pay rent. They never throw rocks from within their greenhouses or red hotels. Just launch rockets, grab land, and mess things up for everyone. Who needs a loan from the bank to keep the bombs flying? Who needs a chance card from the community chest to stay alive and keep going? Who's going to throw a hissy fit and flip the board over? Who needs to quit so that all these waterworks can stop? A second one is thank you, called writer's block. Writer's block crept up on me so quietly you could hear a pen drop. Brick by brick, the wall rose up just out of earshot, was too busy at the viral bar, downing TikTok views to notice. Yes, I lost my muse from self-flagellating screen abuse. My two opposable thumbs went their separate ways, saying it was no more fun just doing doom-scrolling runs. Even my keyboard, mouse, and monitor ran away, never knew they were into three-way digital foreplay. My mind is now a blank. My poetic wit gone weak. I can't even tell the day from the days of the week. Perhaps my muse, always spiritual, took off to Rome for a retreat to see the new pope whisper in his ear with verses so sweet, abandoning this lowly lamb for a new Leo to tickle, divine inspiration for the next papal encyclical. Or maybe she just needed to get away for a holiday date, regroup with her sister muses to rest and recuperate. My broken brain is now missing a perceptive intervention. All trains of thoughts have stopped at an empty station. She once gotten me off my high horse to stay on the wagon and led me to still waters. But now I'm parched for my dragon. I'm starved for a fire breath to raise my butt, get over this wall of rejections. A new kid on the block is paying the price for his sins of omission. Without her clarity, it's just old, rhymey stuff and scattershot ditties. I'm no Banksy, it's back to the drawing board with a single can of canned graffiti. Thank you.
Julian, you're our Banksy of words. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your work with us. Thanks for being here. A round of applause for Julian Matthews. Two more readers than our featured reader, Leonora Simonovis. Ike Waltz, you're on deck. Please welcome now Christopher T. George. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? No. Hmm. Oh, you do hear me? Okay, very good. I've had a couple of instances in my life in which I've heard from people who are affected by poems that I've written. And I'd like to say I'm very glad to hear that uh, the trouble in Gaza might be close to being resolved and it can be brought back to peace. In 2008, there was a terrorist incident and a young girl was killed. I heard from the young girl's sister. She wrote, "Dear Mr. George," I'm going to read her letter exactly the way it reads. "Hi, I'm Zainab from Turkey. On the 26th of June 2008, a terror attack was happened in Istanbul, Turkey. Shema, who is my only sister, was died. And after days when I searched on the internet about Shema, I found your poem, to Shema Ozcan. I wanted to write you a long time ago, but I didn't. Now I appreciate you. It's beautiful, and it's more meaningful for me and my parents. You're so far away from us, but you got our trouble. I'd like to say more, but my word isn't enough. I send you a link about Shema from my aunt's husband's personal webpage. Again, thank you so much. And this is my poem. To Shema Ozcan. At the explosion, she rushed to survey the havoc, praying from the balcony, despite her father's warning. The next blast shot shrapnel through her heart. A balcony should be for dreaming of sunsets, fountains, and gardens, and a young man who brings a gift of fragrant fruit in the morning sun. And one other about another conflict. And by the way, Rick, you didn't mention the drink. We always mention the drink before we enjoy it. Yet another war in another place. Domino. And I quote, "We did it to prevent a greater evil, to stop infiltration from the north. We intended only to kill vegetation. I have been born with no limbs because of Agent Orange, you sprayed in that old war when your bombers filled our skies. With no eyes, I don't see the journalist who photographs me in black and white. My head lolls because it's so heavy when my mother feeds me rice and my mouth yawns open. I live on, unlike the deformed babies that stir goggle-eyed in formaldehyde in Tudu Hospital, Ho Chi Minh City. I live on as a reminder. Here I am, swept under the rug of history, the legacy of another war in another place." Thank you.
Christopher, thank you very much for being here. Nice to see you again. I think I did mention the one drink minimum, but I've had enough sips of this that I may have forgotten. Let's check the tape and find out.
You bet. Yeah. Have to chase it up.
There you go. Thank you very much. Round of applause for Christopher T. George.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. All right, on deck is our featured reader, Leonora Simonovis. Please welcome now Ike Waltz. Hello, Ike.
Looking forward, Leonora. What a letter! I have received, for the worse or the better, a letter. Your letter, no sender, but addressed to me in a penmanship familiar. It's of a familiar she. The envelope pure white with a rosebud stamp attached at the front to imply the smell of spring, with hope not far away. I think the back, no sign of mutilation, licked and sealed with your ruby lips, all mailed and handled with dignity. Expectations, the treasure trove of promise awakened me. Anticipation at a high, yes, a letter from you has arrived today. I just wonder why. What have I done to receive a letter that is not to be from anyone? A letter opener was not handy, so I took a butcher's knife that cut its belly with a razor edge. Like a surgeon, the letter seemed virgin after all. A cesarean in a bold stroke released a nauseous cloud of gas, revealing an obnoxious kind of genie. By George, I said, and her words turned out to be so many. I just adore how you said, I hate you. Like a bulldozer crashing through my soul, words as spit of all that hellish fire. I'm the devil, the evil nobody should ever hire. For the worse, I felt sick, for the better. Your letter now on top of a stack under my table, the abyss of our past at least. And wait it can, until I take the bait, until I have the desire to feel sick again. And then I respond in kindness, a distinction not typical like me. Admittedly, I do not even admire. After all, I forgot who I was, and I became who I am. I am a dire, miserable old squire, somewhat senile, white immigrant, man, fool, poet, who admits with passion and prayer. Good night, America. Thank you.
Signing off to the nation, Mr. Ike Waltz. Thank you, Ike, for being here. Always good to hear your work. Nice piece tonight. Round of applause for Ike Waltz. All right, we'll mention that on deck after our featured reader will be Denise Dumars, which leads us now to our featured reader, who I mentioned earlier is Leonora Simonovis. She's up late on the west coast of New York. I don't know if that's possible, if that's a real thing. I used to live in Syracuse. I never referred to the western part of the state as the West Coast, but now all this time in Southern California, really anything goes. Yeah, every place needs a coast. Leonora, I'm glad you're here. Leonora got on my radar thanks to my subscription to the free daily poem a day email that the Academy of American Poets sends out. So many treasures come in my email every morning in the form of poems. Leonora was one of those treasures. She's a Venezuelan American writer and editor and educator, author of the book Study of the Raft, which won the 2021 Colorado Prize for Poetry and also placed with an honorable mention at the 2022 International Latino Book Awards. She's got a micro chap out called Memorias de un País en Peligro de Extinción. Apologies for any pronunciation foibles there, which received an honorable mention at the 2024 Alta California Chapbook Prize. She's a really wonderful poet who's been published in a lot of really great places that you can see in her bio. She lives in Western New York with her family and 2 dogs. So I hope we're at your feet right now, or at least one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our featured reader, Leonora Simonovis.
Thank you, Rick. And thank you for the invitation. It's lovely to be here. And I really appreciated listening to all of you. I love hearing other people read their poems. And I always learn something new. So thank you for that. Thank you for your words. Um, I am going to read, I'm going to start actually with a short paragraph from an essay of mine that came out a couple of years ago, but this is going to serve as context for the reading and for who I am as a writer. When my children were small, they always asked me to tell them a story to delay nap time as much as possible. They also wanted made-up characters and adventures. Most of my stories were about animals trying to find their way back home. None of the characters had individual names. They were bee or fish or bear. I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back on it, I believe those animals were a version of me, the me that struggled with ideas of home, belonging, and family, looking for ways to adjust to life in an adoptive country, but also the me whose name kept being mispronounced and substituted for something easier on the tongue. It has taken many years for me to process and eventually accept that I will never return to my homeland. In this sense, exile for me is a lived experience that has influenced my sense of self and my relationships with land and with others. So the first poem I'm going to read is actually the first poem in Study of the Raft, and it's called Maps. In the beginning, we were yellow, brown, blue-black stalks, teeth clattering for wind, ground with mortar and pestle, scattered into ocean. No snake in this story, no body to tempt and exile. On the seventh day, the rivers bruised like drumskin. We are children of corn and fish bones, cleaved by starlight and spit, thousands of years tall and still untamed. Our homes taken, we dream the pestle as mortar. Our mothers' hips carry the embers of dawn. Their hands yield the sweetest dough, cradle our faces, brush crumbs off of our lips. We eat so we remember how bodies are sharpened, wrought. We rinse stories out of the sea that was river. They shape-shift into kernels, rewrite themselves in orbit. For a moment, words hover at the edge of consciousness. For a moment, we are a sketch of our own making. And thank you. The next poem is called After They Come, We Go to the Water. They stabbed the earth with no swimming signs, hunted the caimanes to extinction, made boots for themselves, belts to whip our children. We've been renamed, lost in the web of a foreign alphabet. Baptism leaves us thirsty and wanting. They told us the Spanish word for river is peligro, while casting nets and peeling rocks from their sleep, impervious to the scream of the currents, their ears attuned to the one face God. Oxbowed, reshaped, separated from the mother, we call on the Churun, find our way back to be reborn among silt and sediment into runnel and brook, stream and arroyo. Like the caimanes, we watch and wait, tracking each of their movements, listening for the smallest vibration. They think we're afraid. In our language, fear is synonymous with freedom. So thank you. I lived in San Diego for almost 2 decades, and I just moved here last year, back east where I lived as a kid. And my book was written in California, and I have several California poems. So I'm going to read a couple of them from the book and then a new one that I wrote a few months ago. Still life with smoked landscape. California burns stories into ashes. A man picks up a rabbit from the side of a road. A couple watch the flames from inside their swimming pool, hands together in prayer. After their rescue, no one asked if the water was hot or where it felt to be island. People's eyes lock on phone screens while outside rages orange. My kitchen table scratched, one vertical line for each life lost. In Julio Cortázar's house taken over, the owners are chased away by voices. Fire can speak, but we'd rather not hear. From my window, I see monarchs fall, wings singed in mid-flight, prayers unanswered. I am not leaving. There's a brittle quality to plant life, a browning that disintegrates to the touch and sticks to the skin. I am not from this land, but off it, the body an unwanted guest. I've learned to ignore the glare of morning, to read the glyphs of ashes, to groan with a coastal oak. During the summer months, the hawk's quiet, and my oral map feels incomplete, disjointed, yet alert to the smallest glimpse of a fir sprouting in lieu of life, or maybe because of it. A farmer once told me about prescribed burns, and before he explained, I thought of a pharmacy prescription no one would refill, which shows how little I know about the subject. I've come to understand that in this land, fire consumes to make space for new language, one I cannot speak. So I touch the surfaces around me, whisper incantations, wave my arms above my head, baptize myself with whiskey until my skin begins to peel like the crimson leaves of a maple, and all that is left is the crusty skin of old earth. Under it, all the words at my disposal. Thank you. The next poem is for San Diego. I used to not like when tourists came into town. We had a lot of them. And it was always, this conversations about the beach and the palm trees and, but life for us was something else, completely different. Like we're at the border. It's a militarized city. There's so much going on. So this poem is What You See, What I Know. August. Another tourist gushes about Mission Beach, Ocean Beach, the zoo and safari park, the endless rows of palm trees. Aren't they marvelous? Yes, and what lives in the cracks is also beautiful. El Cajon Boulevard, where after lunch with a student, I find the bottom part of a cow's leg, hairs and all, next to my car, where a grandmother leaves the market holding a live chicken by the legs, where near 54th, a small group of students haggles goods on the sidewalk. Stolen or not, someone will eat today. 2 blocks away, 3 policemen handcuff an unhoused man while a crowd watches in silence. Everything permeated by the smell of fish fried in coconut oil, asada, lumpias, smog, rosemary, and sage from the Botanica. This is the city I've come to know and love, the one with people who learn to adapt, resist, belong. Transplants like the palm trees. Flocks of parrots, roof rats, and crows find shelter within their crowns. The unwanted, the too loud, the bad omens. Atop the palm's green fronds, they make home. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to shift gears a little bit and I'm going to read some new poems from a manuscript in progress. Illusions. I look at the chicken pecking the yard, know that if I wanted to, I could break her neck in seconds. I think of my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and all the women before me who had to break something inside of them so others wouldn't. Once I sat in front of a gray wolf, let our gazes lock, a wolf whose name I won't share because there's always a hunter. I could tell you what I saw in those eyes made me afraid, but I'd be lying. Sometimes all it takes is one soul-crushing look to realize how wrong we've been, that a story is just a story. Thank you. My great-grandmother talks about the uses of a machete. Growth is good, but not when it parasites without consent. See how the vine wraps around the plant? I knew a man like that. I told you, grandmother, about that sister of hers. I am a woman of a few words. If I hadn't chased her away, she would have stayed. Back in my pueblo, when I lived alone, I walked to the forest, hacked at brambles and vines to get to the esteros. There are no oceans here. My body craved the lick of water on skin. Every night I sleep with the machete by my side. Better than a husband, more useful too, low maintenance. It protects me, drives the bad spirits away. Handsy prowlers too. I don't believe in honor. Justice is another thing. Martha, Irina, Antonia, women who learned too late. Broken bones, split lips, welted skin. There are things you can't hide, least of all from yourself. Martha's husband left, right arm barely hanging from its socket. I caught him. Wish I hadn't spooked the horse. He was a fine animal. I'm old now. Don't need it. Your grandmother's afraid of the stories it whispers. You can decide for yourself. Grasp until the handle warms in your palm. If you want it, it's yours. Thank you. I'm going to read the poem that came out in Poem a Day. It's called Little Bruja, and it starts with an epigraph by from the book A Wrinkle in Time, which is one of my favorite books. And the epigraph says, there's nothing left except to try. And this is Mrs. Whatsit. I tried. Believe me, I did. But my cheap caribou jeans and Buster Brown polos couldn't match the prestige of Levi's, Nikes, Lacoste, worn by my fifth grade classmates who visited Magic Kingdom every summer. There was Claudia with her buttony nose and perfect smile, blonde and green-eyed Caroline. Despite her rumpled clothes, she looked like a queen. And then Federico, who pulled my braids and boasted about meeting Mickey Mouse. I told him mice are dirty. They poop everywhere. Will make you sick. You'd know, he sneered. I wished them gone. Abuela had told me about giving my mal de ojo to a woman who spoke ill of her. The woman got sick, almost died. One day, Federico fell, pierced his knee on a sharp piece of metal. I whispered in his ear as he wailed, I don't need to go to Magic Kingdom. Magic is in my blood. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to read 3 more poems. This is on beauty. And I've been thinking a lot about aging, and it's such an interesting process. So I've been writing about that too. Each month, I feel less muscle mass, less fear of the unknown, less tolerance for bullshit. Shape-shifting woman, bones rearranging in clicks and pops. I never needed to visit the hot springs until now, but the body wants what it needs. Aging, a kind of erosion, a raft downriver diving through a revolving door. Soon, I'll turn into the devil the nuns warned me about. I'll walk away, wings tucked, earthbound, beautiful. Thank you. All right, so the last 2 poems. This is a poem I wrote for the game of telephone, which some of you might be familiar with, where you get sent a piece of art and you write a piece of writing, or if you're an artist, then you get sent a text and then you do some art related to the text. Dear stranger, if I look close enough, I see the contours of a hand, a body, a camera, a human torso, blurry, but still there. I have trouble remembering faces, so I look at what's around them, at the cracks and crevices that shape our lives. It's like trying to glimpse what moves under murky water. All we can do is speculate. It's winter here. There's smoke coming out of my neighbor's chimney. Yesterday, a cardinal perched on a low branch out in the yard. I watched from a distance, flitting crimson against the hard white of snow. I asked Google if cardinals have predators. It turns out they have a few. I want to not be surprised by this fact, but there are days when I need the world to stop hurting, to know the vulnerable are safe, fed, sheltered, and for one fleeting moment, untouchable. Thank you. And my last poem, it's called The Poet Remembers, and this is a line from a poem by Czesław Miłosz, the Polish poet. And I wrote this for an event on democracy last year, and I want to end with that. The poet remembers that wounds fester unless tended to, that soldados came at night, raided our home, beat our men, took our children, that we saw them fall, saw the red-rimmed eyes of the mountain, watching, that their machine guns woke the trees from their slumber, that the scream of the river, that rapid gunfire spells the way out better than any word, that fear does not leave the body, that the only currency is cracked bone and dry blood, that all we do is witness, that synonyms for national are citizen, voter, native, indigenous, whole, that so many parts of us are scattered over the world, that there is no possibility of return, that we cannot wear another person's country, the fit is never right, that some children will never meet their parents, that some parents will never see their children grow, that all we know is how to break and refuge, that the man in the throne, that his followers, that bodies cuffed up overnight swell along the river, that our defense is low, we let them come, that all we hear are tunneled memories, that what they call theirs cannot be bought, that this wants to be a surgical poem knitting together voice, skin, borderlines, oceans, a grammar of emancipation, freedom, a two-letter word. Thank you.
Leonora, thank you very much. Very powerful and personally powerful set of poems from you. Really dug that a lot. I feel like you told us who you were with those poems. I didn't know you were from San Diego. You're practically a local for me. I'm in Santa Clarita. It's not around the corner exactly, but it's closer than Western New York, is what I'm saying. Fire can speak, but we'd rather not hear is a very California line, I think. I love the concept of baptizing yourself with whiskey. I'm Jewish, but if I knew that's what baptisms, I mean, I'd be like, I'd really strongly consider uh, heading over there for that. I love the image of the cow leg as well. And I mean, this isn't exactly the same thing, but I was walking down the street in the 90s in Sherman Oaks on Ventura Boulevard, and there was an entire sausage just on the sidewalk. So I don't know if that's similar enough of an experience, but there's something to be talked about there, I think. Thank you very much for your work. It was really wonderful. I'm going to share the screen, or actually, let me paste stuff in the chat room first and share the screen to show the broadside I made for the poem that you sent. There it is for On Literature and Life. People, ooh, actually, I didn't quite upload it yet. I need to do that while I'm talking, but in just a second, people will be able to download this from the Cobalt Poets website. It's an 11 by 17 print that you will be able to download in just a sec, that you can print out, look at, make as your wallpaper on your computer if you would like. I'm talking slow because I'm trying to type things and log into my other computer where the upload program is, uh, so I can upload the pages to the thing, which is the technical term for the website. But while I'm doing that, I can also mention from the chat, you can tip Lenora for her reading. There's both a PayPal and Venmo ID there, just like if you were at an in-person reading, whether it's in Western New York San Diego, which is Southern California, or anywhere else where you might be at a reading where the poet reads and a hat gets passed around for them. So that way you could put some money in to tip them. The PayPal and Venmo is there to accommodate the tipping. So there you go. I've now successfully uploaded the broadsides page to the Cobalt Poets website. So if you click there and reload it, if you're seeing an older version of it, you'll see a link to this that you can download, this 11 by 17 print. So do tip Leonora, and also there's a link to her book, Study of the Raft, both at Amazon and bookshop.org, depending on where it is that you would like to buy books. Both are good places to get a book and let the poet know that you appreciate what it is that they did. So there you go. Leonora, let me just say thank you one more time for being here. It was a really awesome set of poems. If I'm not asking too personal of a question, where in Western New York do you live?
Rochester, so I'm only a few hours from Syracuse. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, actually, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah.
Well, next time I visit my cousins, we'll have a summit of some kind
Yes,
on
let me know.
on Onondaga Lake. I don't know.
Definitely. And
All right.
thank
Well,
you so
really,
much. Sorry, I have to leave. I teach tomorrow at 8 a.m., so I have to get up early.
that's okay. That's one of the artifacts of inviting people from different coasts. I totally understand. I really appreciate that you made time to be here with us and really dug your poetry. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Round of applause for our featured reader, Leonora Simonovis. Thank you, Leonora, for being here. I will quickly mention that next week, there will be no reading. That's actually the case. Next week happens to be a Jewish holiday, Simchat Torah. So my wife and I are part of the leadership of our synagogue, and we help lead the music. And so we just so happens that this holiday is happening next week on Tuesday night, and we will be unscrolling the entire Torah from the end where we're at this week and rolling it all the way back up to the beginning so we can start the whole darn thing over again. The rabbi will be throwing candy at people, and I had to take out special insurance for that. So there you go. That's what I will be doing next week. So no Cobalt next week, but in 2 weeks, our featured reader on October 21st will be Bree Bailey, who's an Austin poet who I think Heidi Casa, who's with us tonight, suggested to me. So we'll have Bree in 2 weeks. There you go. This leads us now to the rest of tonight's open reading. Here's who I have on the list: Denise Dumars, Martina Robles Gallegos, Christopher Bogart, Cathabella, Jackie Siggy, and Chris, Gloria, Sean Mahoney, Ed Potastic, Heidi Casa, and me. If anyone else is here, or if you're watching on YouTube and want to read, please join the Zoom and let me know in the chat that you would like to read. Happy to add you. As a reminder, 2 poems maximum. Less is more is the suggested time limit. On deck will be Martina Robles Gallegos. Please welcome now Denise Dumars. Hello, Denise.
Hi, I mean, that was such an amazing set of poetry. I've got to get her book and everything. Leonora was amazing. 2 poems tonight of seasonal interest, perhaps, and in both of them, there's a word that some of you may know and some of you may not. The word is spelled like this, but it is pronounced not how it's spelled. I'm typing this into the chat right now. It's a Celtic, from the Celtic languages. It looks like it should be Samhain, but it's actually pronounced closer to Samhain. And it is a an old Celtic holiday, which some of us still celebrate, and what you guys call Halloween. So this first one is called Snow and Space. And it was inspired by seeing astronauts wearing Halloween costumes on the International Space Station a couple of years ago. Cold is a galactic problem, but it starts around Samhain, the warning of winter, the forest at first frost, the harrowing howls of wolves, the last harvest, blood month, the sky just less forgiving, the eyes of the gods gone gray. Stars wink as if in mocking man's magic, woman's wisdom. All have prepared to preserve because all are sworn to survival, stocking up, safety in numbers, for things of no summer now stalk, and glowing eyes in the gloaming match crackle of claws on the rime. When we take to the sky beyond sky, we don't forget apotropaic wards, vampire capes and superhero suits, ghoul and ghost faces to ward off the predators, not confined to the surface of Earth. And we pretend that this is not the purpose of astronauts' Halloween costumes, but those on the space station know. Yes, those on the space station know. Who knows what's out there, right? Okay, and this one is a little bit funny. It's called Senior Moment, and it's about a senior moment this time of year. I've forgotten the skein and the thurible, tripped over something that might have been a robe. Were we supposed to wear robes tonight? Do I even have the right century, the right phase of the moon? Which moon, you say, and laugh? Oh, yes, and I will check the star charts. I've forgotten the speech of Serval and I, stirred the brew until gold turns to red. Was it supposed to be the other way around? And the cold was as cold as my, what body part again? I've forgotten the scepter and scourge, the receptacle for the milk of Eon, and the faded puce suns that explode in my cranium with the manipulations of Zionetta's theorem and the disconnect of the link. Communication ended. I've forgotten the arms that used to speak, long, beautiful fingers, and their swirls of white sparks in the sky. Tell us now, tell us now, tell us now. They ask me of the old Samhain, but I've forgotten the signs and the stiffness of my aged vibrissae. Help me not. Forgive me. What was the question? Thank you.
Great poems, Denise. Glad to hear them from you tonight. I know you mentioned earlier you're going to be out for a little while. I hope that everything that's going to happen will lead you back here speedily with you feeling and doing amazing. So thank you so much for being here, for giving us a little bit of Celtic history. I've been watching Outlander, so I feel like I'm an expert in all things Celtic just as a result of that. So there you go. Round of applause for Denise Dumars. Thank you, Denise. On deck, Christopher Bogart. Please welcome now Martina Robles Gallegos. Hello, Martina.
Yes, hello. So I have two. They're always short. The first one, I think you heard before. Who will look after the children? When the masked and armed men bang on the door, who will protect the children? Who will help them safe, keep them safe? When the children are hungry, who will feed them? When children are sleepy, who will tuck them in bed? When children are sick, who will take them to the doctor? When children are dirty, who will bathe them? When children feel pain, who will soothe them? When children feel scared, who will hold them? When children feel lonely, who will talk with them? When children are afraid, who will calm their fears? When children ask why they are being kidnapped, who will answer them? When children want to know who the masked men are, who will explain? When children ask for their parents, who will tell them where and why they were kidnapped? When children ask why the president hates them, who will answer them with honesty? When children listen to words of hatred, Will anyone explain why those words are even allowed to be spoken? When children ask about their future, will anyone assure them they'll have one? Can anyone assure these children their lives will be better? Will they ever feel safe again? Will the nightmares go away? In a 360, okay. Sunlight. The sun smiled this afternoon when I saw her at my door. My soul was at peace. There was hope in her eyes, and a sense of relief filled her gentle gaze. Her heart radiated with joy. She spoke of a new beginning. I love the familiar look on her face and the eyes that still shine love. I can feel the warmth of her heart and her drive to succeed once barriers melt away. She's weathered bad storms before and was able to walk to safety and find herself again. She will succeed because she's a warrior like her ancestors. She's another bright light and a beautiful star that turns rain into a rainbow. Thank you.
Martina, thank you. Short but powerful poetry from you tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Well done. Round of applause for Martina Robles Gallegos.
Thank you.
On deck, the collab. Please welcome now Christopher Bogart. Hello, Christopher.
Hi, Rick. I want to just make a comment about Martina's poetry. It's beautiful. And it, for those people that don't know, I've been writing a novel for the last 12 years. I've got over 350 pages, and it all has to do with migration from Central and South America up to the United States. It started, the interest started when I read a book by Alberto Urrea called The Yuma 14, or actually it was called The Devil's Highway. It's about 26 Mexicans, the oldest being 56 years old, the youngest being 14, and his son, who traveled to the United States through the Sonoran Desert. 14 of them never made it. They died in the desert. The first poem I'm going to read is, I wrote a book of poetry called 14, and it was about these 14 people who died, 14 men who died. This is one of those poems, and it's called Edgar Adrian Martinez Colorado. I was born on the top of the Hill of the Eagle in the province of Veracruz. $8 a day was all I was worth to the Coca-Cola plant. I played soccer on weekends, the star of my team, till the day I met Claudia Reyes. $8 a day then just wasn't enough. So at 16 years old, I walked to my death in the desert in Arizona. When I fell in the sand, I heard eagles cry, the thump, 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 as it came down from the sky, too late to be saved. The sun seared my eyes, sand sealed them closed, burning, burning. And then the second one is one that I just wrote a few days ago, and it has to do with the horror that if you'll pardon my saying so, the white community in this country is dealing with the fact that Bad Bunny, a Puerto Rican singer, one of the 5 biggest singers in the world today, is doing the halftime at the Super Bowl. I apologize to Martina and anybody else who speaks Spanish for what I'm about to do, but he also said, Bad Bunny, he said, I give you 4 months to learn Spanish. So this is my poem. Be a bad bunny, Bad Bunny. Saying conejito malo, conejito malo. Bad Bunny, do you think that you on the NFL dime, could whip a roll of paper towels the way that President Trump once did at Calvary Temple in Old San Juan. Why not whip his bounty back? Not a lob, but a burn, a tight spiral with a dead-eyed aim at his orange face and his bleached blonde head. Be a Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny, how many of your undocumented fans could afford to buy tickets for the Super Bowl? Probably the same amount as are eligible for Medicaid. So please give them a show they'll remember forever. Tu Bunny, eres el rey de todo Puerto Rico, un boricua de la tierra de guerreros, taínos. Canta tus canciones en el idioma de Lorca y enoya a los magos que pagaron caro para escucharles. Sé el mejor conejito malo que puede ser. And for those of you that don't understand Spanish, you, Bunny, are the king of all Puerto Rico, a Boricua from the land of Taino warriors. Sing your songs in the language of Lorca and piss off the maggots who paid dearly to hear them. Be the best Bad Bunny you can be. Thank you.
Well done, Christopher. Sentiments heard and appreciated by me for sure. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Christopher Bogart. On deck, Gloria. Please welcome now the collab, Cathabella, Jackie, and Siggy. Or sorry, I guess Siggy isn't here. Wait,
Chris, yeah, I
Chris,
don't know what happened to Siggy. I hope she's okay. So here we are with our fonts, the fonts you favor. We also had the theme of distraction running through this. Okay, so the font you favor. Jackie, Rickham, we're up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll be sorry.
Oh, he says you'll be sorry. No, well, never sorry when you're there. Look at that nice
I'm
blue.
playing a new Persian day.
Okay. All right, Jackie.
Straightening the rubber duckies in the tub. I grow up preferring Times New Roman.
Wondering what is the font for the numbers on my Apple Watch? Why not ask ChatGPT?
Refusing to learn to type. Only secretaries do. I was sure not me. That's why now I always use a comic font.
Cherishing the faded typed pages from my old printer. I rebelled against the posh college culture.
OMG, the sound heard from festival stage. How fast can I move? A new favorite from New Orleans, buskers called skinny tuba. Distracted from distraction by distraction. T.S. Eliot, quote, my motto since high school days.
I welcomed the distraction of a 4-year crush, making him the hero in all my poems.
He came into my life as an exponential equation. Better and better. More I laughed, more I knew. He was more than a distraction.
Walking back's a puppy, distracted from running, reflections in puddles. He stops to scare the new dog.
The font changes the nuance of the poem. I tell my fellow poets, you look at me weirdly.
Spring green hoppers, daytime noisy entertainment. Sudden sheen jumpers. I laugh when my friend is startled and tell her they're crunchy tasty.
Oh, where's that Siggy? Nobody else like her. Myself alone in a different century, a cricket keeper. The night before the race, distracted by their song. Thank you, everyone. That was fun.
Fun indeed. Fun with fonts, with the collab. Thank you,
Crunchy
Kathy Bell.
tasty.
Crunchy tasty.
Thank you, Cathabella, Chris, Jackie, and of course Rick, very much for that. What are you playing tonight, Rick?
What are you playing?
It's a Persian ney. I have a lot of them. This one is modern in that it has, instead of a brass end, it has plastic, so that it doesn't hurt your teeth. That's the
9 out of 10 dentists recommend that particular flute.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much. I spend a lot of time all day picking fonts for things, so it's cool to see you guys jump into that world.
That was fun.
Thank you all very much for being here. I hope Siggy is okay wherever
Me
she is.
too.
And,
Yeah.
hope to have her back soon. Round of applause for Cathabella, Jackie, Chris, and Rick. Thanks to all of you.
Love those fonts.
We all do. We all do. On deck, Sean Mahoney. Please welcome now Gloria. Hello, Gloria.
Hello, all. Good evening. I have two poems tonight. 2 years ago, about 3 days after the melee of 2 years ago, I wrote a poem about a party that everyone at the kibbutz decided to have, and it's called Balloons, Birthday, and Blood. Not political, but emotional. Have a party for a hostage hidden in a deep tunnel. Perhaps he can't stand on his feet, or perhaps he is dead. Perhaps he sees. Perhaps love travels on the breeze. Hope remains the tiny whore. You pay and pay, you keep score. So plan a birthday party, decorate and play as if he lives this special day. We miss his presence, we miss his laughter, we miss his breath. We dance and sing to scare away death. Red eye for red eye, balloons in the sky, the eyeballs soar high. Celebrate the little boy. Create memory he may never be told. Hope that tiny whore might bring him back to grow old. The party is finished. The dancing is done. The book of this time of sweat and blood will hold the memory of balloons, birthday, and blood. And the second offering is a autumn poem along with Martin, who kicked off the autumn theme. Autumn leaf, autumn flower. Autumn is a second spring with every leaf a flower, says Albert Camus. Camus says the autumn leaf a flower, not a lifeless thing to end upon a smoky pyre. Nature paints last desire. Are you the late edible bloom, full of sweet juices that release in rhythm of the gentle pulse, strong pressure, and flow easily to the lip? I am chrysanthemum, golden flower, open as a geisha's hungry mouth, entwined in the crown of imperial Japan. Fidelity, optimism, joy, and long hour. Would your leaf be adventure? Press the flower of your metal to chrysanthemum, touch, taste, draw, explosion with petals. Leaf wants, but flower cares. Fresh color bursts, fire is unbearable, sage incendiary winds command, no matter the short time to burn. Leaves cannot stop process. There's no recess, just now, color, fire, and momentary flower. Many autumn leaves blow by, others fall to the ground, swept away. Do not end with only pyre and broom. In second spring, first glow and then bloom. Thank you.
Lori, it's been a little while since we've seen you. Nice to have you back. Thank you so much for being here. I hope all is going well with you.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Well, welcome back. Nice to see you again. Round of applause for Gloria. Nice work, as always. On deck, Ed Potastic. Please welcome now Sean Mahoney. Hello, Sean.
Good evening, Rick. Hello, everybody. I have one old one and one newer one. The old one is like really old, like 14, 15 years old. And I know I've read it here before. I read it in lots of places several times a year. It's kind of creepy, but for some reason I find a certain reassurance in it. Like this will pass kind of a reassurance. This is called In the Country. My country greased civility. My country embraces meme and wraps superficial round its skinnying shoulders. My country cannot see straight for its triggers and magazines, and that is aspic and tongue and a lark. My country lives in detours and is no longer ours, no longer what my love and I invented. At the table, we weep for our country that it may one day grow to love itself, its characters and wilds. Our country believes in collections rather than birds and smoke. Our country cannot see crumbling streets, for the buildings of neon wrap my country's bones in dizzying light. My love and I watched the foolish hand stir the collective and change the topic. My love and I hunched together, wondering how we lost it. Thank you. This other one is called Music for the Sinking Populace. As Barber's Adagio streamed and Willem Dafoe got riddled with bullets, I watched my country engulfed in hatred. The weight dragged all, ever so slowly, down the still smoking landscape. The gold necklaces with diamonds and pearls burned. Ruby satellites burned, glittering in the sun. Sidewalk cafes, deserted all these weeks for the people, lost their wiles, their savvy. The people charged all that hate, took layaway and payday loans just to feel seething. The wealth took what remained, a half sin of a half sin. I always anticipated a beautiful sunburn teased by tiny cotton fibers of your bedraggled shirt, the shirt we held between us while pooling and later as we lay with shade, applauding Toscanini's soul of sound, eating apples, corn chips. The burn that bore your initials peeled weeks later, an apparition of a meeting place, a Kathy Heathcliff moment of reckoning. Watch us both fall through walls. Listen, we can never talk while the table sits askew, sinking, rattling our cages, oblivious to harm. Dander flaking where the knife will find you soon enough, and your key will change, and your rest pauses, your brain strummed, thrummed, a hamster wheel metronome, a 24-stringed guitar, oblivious to harm. Thank you.
24-string guitar. My God. I play a
Jealous
12-string,
much, Rick?
Sean, and I've been tuning it for the last 25 years, and I've almost got it, but 24.
I'm sure one exists somewhere. I mean, isn't it plausible? Jimmy Page probably never brought it out on stage, but it hung out in the tour bus by itself,
I mean, he
wondering if it would ever
technically
be
played an
played.
18 string if you count the
Oh,
double
did
neck,
he?
with the 12 string on the one neck and the 6 string on the other. But I don't know. I'm just scared to death thinking about it at the moment. Also, very brave of you to put a picture of the Republican Party as your backdrop tonight.
So, it's October, obviously, and it's Halloween, and I just entered into Google Druid, Halloween, and this is what came up.
Nice.
I ran.
Well, be careful because those things come right out of there and eat your brains.
They are kind of spooky. This is true.
Yeah. Sean, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Have a good night,
Round of
everyone.
applause for Sean Mahoney. On deck, Heidi Casa. Please welcome now Ed Potastic. Hello, Ed.
Hello, Rick. Thank you for being such a wonderful host that I love the most, that deserves the coast, that never ever boasts, that goes coast to coast. You boast, but you go coast to coast. But hello, my name is Ed Potastic, fantastic. Please, time to join my rhyme. Five full sublime. I got two pieces, so I'll take too much time. My first piece is called "Oh My Love." Oh my love, 1,000 kisses from you isn't too much. I just don't wanna stop. Oh my love, 1,000,000 days in your arms, never too much. I just don't wanna stop. Never too much, never too much, never too much. I love you, how deserts love the rain. You're my glue, the coat in the pouring pain. You're my screw, the boat that keeps me sane. You're my honeydew, the fistune in my blue. You're my moon, the light in my pitch dark night. You're my balloon, you take me to better heights. You're my lagoon, you're the wind from my kite. You're my cocoon, you're the shield of my spite. You're my cartoon, you're my joyful ray of insight. How can I love you more? I can't count the ways. You fuel my bloody cure. You fuel my bloody core. You set my darkness ablaze. You are what I live for. You're the nows of my essays. You're the gift I can't ignore. You're the sun for my days. You are everything that I adore. You're the swan in my ballet. You're everything that a chore. You're something I can't paraphrase. You are nevermore, but furthermore. I can go on, but what more can I say? I'm here if you want to listen to more. Thank you. My other one is called Greed and Need. I can't live without poetry. It's the words inside you and me. I don't need anything else. Maybe insight or a belt. I'm not a collector of wealth. I play the cards I've been dealt. I remember I was poor. It balanced my red core. Hate some collectors. Fight and take to feel even better. You pay how much for those shoes? Did you get at least a trip or a cruise? You pay how much for that dress? Are you that eager to quickly impress? You pay how much for that car? That Tesla isn't going to take you far. You pay how much for that ring? Did they at least give you golden wings? You pay how much for that art? Where's your complimentary go-kart? You pay how much for your mate? With or minus the one-time only estate. We're the monsters we feed. Buy whatever you want, but please some humanity. The less fortunate need money too, for a plate of stew, or to warn off the flu. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. We do want to hear more, and that's why we have you coming up as our featured reader early next month. So get excited about that. Feel free to boast about it at all. Thanks for being here tonight. Round of applause for Ed Potastic. A couple more readers, and then me to close out the open reading. Michael G. Hickey, you are on deck. Please welcome Heidi Casa. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everybody. I have two tonight. Dear Danny, scrambling to sit furthest back in class, like me, did you have a bad day too? I wondered when looking at your tattered black Nirvana t-shirt I'd never seen you not wearing. I worried if you were okay with the recent Kurt Cobain of it all, but we were not friends, and this was our forced CCD with a teacher who let us listen to headphones or overlooked us. The darkness in me stifling speech. But maybe you know, in my look, even though we were not the same uncool. Our isolation to cope, distancing possible friends. Today, by the pumpkins filling my ears, with the joy that only felt brighter in its opposition to my inner cloud, the discordant emotions birthing my love of irony. The flower can't stop its blooming, can't turn away from its own vivid awakening, petals winging out like hands in offering, widening open, pausing at the gentlest point to let in breath and sight of the flower's zenith, unfolding like a papered dream, the full shape already known, stretching into itself, a process and result mistaken for happiness because we don't have the right name for this complete, vibrant extension. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. With the recent Kurt Cobain of it all, great line. Well
Thanks.
done. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for sending Bree Bailey our way. Looking forward to her reading in a couple of weeks.
Oh, good. Me too. Yeah. Thank you for having her.
Sure. All right. Round of applause for Heidi Casa. On deck is me to close out the open. Please welcome now Michael G. Hickey. Hello, Michael.
Hello, everyone. I'm doing one prose poem tonight. My favorite writer is Flannery O'Connor, a Southern writer who died in her early, she was 39, died of lupus. And in addition to being a great writer, she also raised peacocks. This poem starts with an epigram from her. She says, "When the peacock has presented his back, the spectator will usually begin to walk around him to get a front view, but the peacock will continue to turn so that no front view is possible. The thing to do then is to stand still and wait until it pleases him to turn. When it suits him, the peacock will face you. Then you will see its green bronze arch around him, a galaxy of glaring haloed suns." This is called the peacock polka. This is the story of a peacock, a peahen, and the process known as the tail feather fertility dance. And it goes like this. One lovely spring day, Parker, alpha male, and a serious peacock with serious peacock thoughts, slowly and methodically approaches his soon-to-be queen. Thus the process begins. Step one, initially Parker does not make eye contact. This is a crucial element in the mating ritual. Confuse her, create mystery in her foul mind, and then sit back and let her fill in all the blanks. Ignore her. Chicks hate this. Then start to walk away. Meanwhile, Henrietta is in the field with all the other peahens, eating berries and bamboo. It's that time of year again, and it's her turn to have the pick of the peacocks. They know it, she knows it, and the other princess peahens can only stare in peahen envy. Henrietta is supposed to be in heat, ready to mate, hot to trot, etc., but she's not feeling it. All she wants to do is eat comfort food, blueberries, raspberries, maybe a fig or two. Step two, suddenly Parker spins back around and laser locks his magnetic love glare directly at the queen of the peahens. Confident his charisma will penetrate her inhibitions, her boundaries, her light. If he's patient, he can hypnotize this pretty poultry, no problem. Henrietta, on the other hand, has seen this magnificent love glare before, and it means nothing. It's so predictable. It's all sizzle and no steak. Step three. This is it, the long-awaited love scene. Parker inhales deeply through his beak and puckered nose. This is the moment of truth, the day he's been waiting for. He turns his back to her again, this time sharply like a soldier, and fans his full plumage to display the train. Chicks love this move. They can't resist it, especially when all those tail feathers start to shake, rattle, and roll, making that freight train sound. No bird displays the train like a peacock, and no peacock displays the train like King Parker. He spreads his magnificent tail feathers, a 4-foot deck of marked cards. He then proceeds to strut with real purpose, neck jerking back and forth. This is called being cocksure and serves two purposes. It is a love letter to Henrietta, but also a clear warning to lesser peacock wannabes who dare to test the OG's alpha status. He knows they're all watching. Meanwhile, amidst this flamboyant train displaying, Henrietta smiles. Mentally, she's giving herself a mani-pedi and planning how to rearrange the patio furniture, maybe add a swing, a few plants. She finds this whole mating ritual thing insufferably boring, but plays along mostly to amuse herself. She can smell Parker's stupidity from across the barnyard, but still indulges his suitor's strut. Henrietta starts thinking about dinner. She wonders if there's anything to eat in the alfalfa field besides alfalfa. She hates alfalfa. Finally, step 4. If step 3 fails, don't fret. You can still have your ace in the hole, the sympathy card. Despite Henrietta's current demeanor, peahens are notoriously empathic. Parker closes the deck of his exquisite plumage and, head down, begins to trudge away in defeat, tail feathers low to the ground like a scolded hound dog with his tail between his legs. When Henrietta sees this, she hurries toward him. Hey, 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 where you going, big boy? Come here, come here. Don't leave. We're just getting started. You just got here. Now, display the train for me again, slow and easy this time. Ooh, yeah, that's right. I sure never saw a train like that before. Time to wiggle and waggle those tail feathers. And so it goes. Every spring of every year, back and forth, yin and yang, tennis match between players in peacock feathers. Every spring, a peacock falls in love with a peahen. Every spring, the two save their species by doing the peacock polka. More of a tango, really. This love ballet, highly choreographed, is not to be hurried. It is a chess game that swims and swirls in colorful feathers. Sometimes the eyes in the feathers stare back at you. This is a good sign. It means that somewhere in the universe, two galaxies are about to collide. And nearby, sitting atop an old yellow tractor, the farmer, Old MacDonald, shouts, God save the king and queen. Long live Parker and Henrietta. All hail to the barnyard love. Thank you.
A lot of good insights there for those of us considering trying to court a peacock, Michael. Thank you so much for that piece. Glad you made it in to share that with us.
Thanks. Sorry I was late. I was at a job interview. I think I got the job, so we'll see.
Let us know and tell them that you're not available on Tuesday evenings.
I will.
All right, round of applause for Michael G. Hickey. Thank you, Michael. All right, folks, I'm going to close out the open reading with two poems. This first one is from High Moose Alert. I'm at the point in our trip where we're almost at the end of our Alaska trip, of our the cruise part of the Alaska trip before we went on land into the interior of Alaska and the Yukon in Canada. This poem is called Night. We could have been anywhere on Earth today, contained within this floating Las Vegas. The views from the exterior decks may be different, but nothing today was about Alaska. That's okay, Addie assures me, as the day was filled with fun and food and food. Most decisions on a day like today in this moving place involve deciding where to eat and whether to eat again after just eating. The music is aces. One singer pulled Addie up from the audience to dance. It's not the first time this has happened. Once you spot an Addie in the crowd, that's who you naturally gravitate toward. That's how it worked for me. This could have been anywhere. I'm sure it would have happened outside Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. The fact it happened at sea is all the proof needed. Tomorrow we will get off this ship, then we will get back on it, then we will get off it again, and that will be it, at least for the ship. Moose Watch 2024 is about to begin. And this is the poem that I wrote for this week's Torah portion. This is kind of a monumental occasion for me. I mentioned earlier we're celebrating Simchat Torah next week, where we're starting the Torah over, rewinding it to the beginning, and I'm going to keep writing poems. But I've been on this 7-year project. Each portion of the Torah is divided into 7 parts, let's say. And so for the last 7 years, I've been taking a line from one of the parts and responding to it. And then the second year, I took a line from the second part. And I'm in the 7th year of doing it, which means I just wrote the last poem of this 7 years of doing this. And I kind of forgot that the last part of the reading is actually the beginning of the whole darn book again. So I was really surprised that I was already starting over, but that's just how it works. That's how this cycle works. So this is it. This poem is called Starting Over. It responds to this line of text in the beginning of God's creation of heaven and earth. I forgot we end at the beginning. 7 years into this cycle of words, and I'm back where I started. We're back where we started. A culmination diffused by the opening credits. Page 1 and nothing becomes everything. No time to mourn our heroes. No time to celebrate our arrival, as it all has yet to happen. This is the cycle, the rhythm of time. I'll watch this again. There's light. It's pretty good. There's sky and water. I love those. The land has always been my favorite. Here come the trees, the stars, the difference between day and night, all the creatures, the swimming ones, the flying ones, the furry ones. Chapter 1, and I already have something to pet. Look how they prosper. How about that 2-legged one? He looks like all of us. Days turn to weeks, to months, turn to years. But I'm jumping ahead. It's only been 6 days. Time for a rest. We've got all of history to start next week, and it will be very good. All right, well, so much for that 7-year project. You know what I'm saying? I'll have to figure out what I'm going to be writing about starting next week. I'll let you know for sure. Thank you all very much for being here. Great evening, as always, here at the Cobalt. I want to thank again our featured reader, Leonora Simonovis, who teaches early on tomorrow. So she had to check out. She's from New York. So really appreciate that she was here with us. Her set was amazing. There's the stuff in the chat. If you want to see it again and support her, you can send her a tip via PayPal or Venmo. You can download her broadside there on the Cobalt Poets website. You can check out her book, Study of the Raft, at Amazon or bookshop.org. And there's her website as well if you want to keep in touch with her that way. Just a reminder, next week, no reading because of the Jewish holiday that's happening next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks on October 21st with Bree Bailey. Looking forward to that. Enjoy your week off. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm going to click on the Ask All to Unmute button.
Good night, everybody. Good stuff tonight. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, everyone.
Mhm.
Good night. Thank you, Rick.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Night, everybody from